start with the lecture, beta, last class I had asked how many of you all are new students who are attending the lecture for the first time, right? And there were few hands which were raised. So what is my plan? I had told you that I'll execute some plan for you all this. You will right now immediately from today now, we are going to go ahead with giving you the links for the lectures, right? Already whatever we have completed, but link भेजा मतलब बात खत्म नहीं होती है. This goes for other students also. As I had already told you all in the last class that I'll be conducting the doubt sessions, right? So the doubt sessions will include your conceptual doubts, it will include your module doubts, it will include your paper doubts. Okay? So during that particular time now, anyone of you all, not only the new students, even the old students also, whoever is going to have a difficulty with any of the concepts, any of the the question papers, or any of the modules or whatever, you can definitely clear it during those doubt sessions. Doubt sessions will be held separately. Apart from the 2 days that I'm going to call you, I'll be calling you separately one more day every week for the doubt sessions. So it's not कि एक बार doubt session लिया, then it's over. बाद में तुम्हारे doubts pile up होते जाएंगे तो अच्छी बात है, बाद के बाद में देख लेंगे. Never. Okay. So the one of the days when I'll be calling you, apart from the 2 lectures that I'm going to be taking, one day will be devoted purely for clearing your doubts, and that will be like a revision session also. So whatever chapters we have completed, there'll be a revision type of a thing for that particular chapter also. So we need not wait at the last moment to start with the revisions. So I've already completed the chapters. I'll start revising them also, and I'll also clear your doubts also. So what would be the day? When will be that day? As I said, 1 week out of in 1 week 3 lectures. Yes, beta. You can't hear me. Oh my God. Am I audible or not? I'm audible now. My dear, please check with your okay, you can't hear me now, so I'll put a message to you, Meghansh. Wait. I'll message you. I'll message you. Okay. Wait. So you can complete. See, I won't take. So as I said, na. See, beta, those who are new, for them especially, you will be provided with the links the way I have completed the chapter, and I'll go with the doubt sessions also the way I have completed the chapter. So the first chapter that I completed with my students is cell unit of life. So that would be on the first doubt session time. So you will get one week का उतना मतलब है ना. तो अगर 7th chapter is going to be suppose reproduction in organisms, so उसका number 7 weeks के बाद आएगा. So you'll get ample of time to go through the revision, like the recordings, and make notes for your doubt sessions. Living World, I'm sorry. Yes, thank you so much. Living World was the first chapter. You will get it accordingly only. The system that you will get the recordings, in that way only I'll be going ahead with the doubt sessions also. So out of 3 lectures that I'll be conducting, 1 lecture every week would be a doubt lecture and a revision lecture. Doubt plus revision. And next 2 which I'll be conducting will be your new chapters that I am, ongoing chapters. Okay. You will get to unmute. Yeah, you will get to unmute. I'll ensure that you would be able to unmute yourself. You would be able to answer my queries. You would be able to give answers to whatever I'm going to ask in general. Okay, we will conduct like that. Okay. Yeah, try. There is something. So now you can hear me, right? Now I'm audible to you. Okay, fine. Yeah, that is there. That is first thing. So Preeti ma'am is with me. Preeti ma'am, you're with me right now, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Preeti ma'am, kindly send the recordings according to our chapters that we have completed to the new students, please. And my dear new students, don't worry. जैसे मैंने बोला है कि अगर आपको कोई भी concept नहीं समझ में आता है ना, note down करके रखो concept का नाम. I'll explain it during these sessions. Fine. Okay, that is one thing. Second thing which I want to know is how many of you all are having morning. अच्छा, सबके college के admissions हो चुके हैं. All of you all have done with the college. Yes. Okay. So I want to know how many of you all have got morning college. Those who have got morning college, raise your hands. Those who have got morning college, raise your hands. Two students have got morning college out of 3. Okay. Just raise your hand. You don't know the name or timing of your college. No, but they would be conducting online lectures now. Not yet started. Okay, chalo, fine. Let us see. So only 1 or 2 hands are being raised. No, not the integrated ones. Integrated ones had not out problem here. Chalo, anyways, I'll come to this question eventually. Fine. Okay, so we can go ahead with the current chapter that we have started. Okay. How do we pronounce Kika? It's called as Kika. Kika interna, Kika externa. It's called as Kika. Okay. Yeah. Fine. So before I go ahead ना बेटा एक बात और है, मुझे वो क्रोनोलॉजी चाहिए, तो एक बार रिपीट कर लो कि हमने कैसे पहले कौन सा चैप्टर स्टार्ट किया. कोई एक लिखो, सारे के सारे लोग मत लिखो. Who would write just write down the chapter का short form, जैसे कि living world is LW. I have not taught you all that how many thika in one answer. I'll tell you, beta. I'll tell you now. Huh? I'll tell you. Huh. Okay. Thank you, Divya. It is living world. No, bacha, I started with living world. Second one is, I think so. Went ahead with cell unit. Huh. Yeah. So first is living world. Second is cell unit. Third is cell cycle. Third is cell cycle. Okay. Fourth was human biological classification. Yes. Sixth was yeah, I had thought. Yes, of course. That is what is embryogenesis, beta? Formation of embryo कैसे होता है? Morula कैसे बनता है? Then free germ layers कैसे बनते हैं? Those things. Yeah. Fifth was human reproduction. Sixth was very good, very good. Thank you so much. Who's this? You have given the perfect way, the way I want it. Yeah. So I've got a list. I'll just read the list. Preeti ma'am, kindly take a note of this list now. Very beautifully sent. First is living world. Second is cell unit. Third is biological classification. Fourth is cell cycle. Fifth is reproduction in organisms. Sixth is human reproduction. Seventh is reproductive health. Eighth is now the one which is going on. Okay. Yes. Can you repeat the concept of the seeds of the fruits on the basis on which component of flower? seeds are going to be the ripened ovules. Okay, and fruits are going to be the ripened ovary. So when ovary ripens, it becomes fruit. And when ovules are going to get fertilized, we call them as seeds. Okay? That I've already told you. Till 15th only 11th standard syllabus as homework. Don't worry, I have not changed that. वो तो मैंने कल ही बता दिया था. ठीक है, कल नहीं परसों, whatever. Fine. Okay. So this is what is. Well, now we are going ahead with a very beautiful concept, and it's a conceptual chapter. Okay. Number of seeds depends on the number of ovules. Yes, beta. You're perfectly right. But you know what? I think almost all of you all have eaten this thing now. I'll send you. It's going to be later on, na? So I'll send you. You can't see the last point, right? It's very clear. The last point is this. Now, okay. Chalo, fine. Okay, fine. Now just understand this, okay? That this particular chapter is going to be completely a conceptual chapter. Conceptual का मतलब क्या है कि you need to understand the very interesting part of how the reproduction actually takes place in these flowering plants. Fine. It is not like a ratta maro chapter. It's not a ratta maro chapter. It's not like mugging up thing. It's understanding part. Right. So please understand these things very clearly right from the beginning. It's very interesting. It's really very interesting. We might have never thought also that aisa bhi kuch hota hai. Let us see. Okay. So just as in the chapter called as reproduction in organisms, we have seen there is something called as pre-fertilization events that are taking place. Correct. So that is what it is. Pre-fertilization. We are talking about the structure and the events that are going to take place. Okay. Look at it. Where's my marker? Yeah. So much before the actual flower is seen on the plant, the decision that the plant is going to flower has already taken place. Now, this is a very important sentence. We look at the flowers, correct? But we really don't know that, or we really never have thought about it. कि exactly यही position पे flower क्यों आया? What makes this particular shoot? What makes this particular point to grow into a flower? We have never thought about it. So they are saying much before the actual flower is going to be seen, the decision of the plant that this is the point where the flower has to grow is already taken earlier. Earlier मतलब कब? वो भी देखते हैं. And who takes this decision? वो भी देखते हैं. Several hormones and structural changes are initiated, which led to the differentiation and further development of floral primordium. Hormones. So जैसे human reproduction chapter में हमने देखे थे testosterone, estrogen, progesterone, oxytocin. We have seen all these right now. So all these hormones, as they were playing a very important role in the formation of their needs, in the same way, here also, there are going to be several hormones which are going to be initiating what certain structural changes or modifications in that particular node. I have already explained you in the last class what is node, right? So node is the point from where growth initiates. It could lead to the formation of leaf. It could lead to the formation of bud, that is a floral bud. It could lead to the formation of a branch, anything, right? So that is the node. So ये node पे कुछ structural changes होते हैं which are initiated by the hormones. Okay, that leads to differentiation. Differentiation matlab to become different. Okay, so they become different from the original. That is called as differentiation. Fine. Inflorescence is formed which pairs the floral buds and then the flowers. What is inflorescence? Inflorescence is the arrangement of flowers on the floral axis, how the flowers should be arranged. Okay, so inflorescence kya hai? Again I'm repeating, inflorescence is nothing but arrangement of flowers on the axis. Whose axis पे, whose stem पे, how the flowers are going to be arranged, whether it's solitary matlab one single flower, or is it in a bundle, is it in a group, how is it? So that is going to be called as inflorescence. So inflorescence is form which bear the floral buds, and then the flowers are going to be found on those. So once the buds are going to bloom, they are going to get the converted into flowers. Primordium means the initial position. Floral primordium is the initial position where the bud formation is going to take place. Okay, beta? Got it? Fine. So, yeah, all 3 points clear for all of you all. Any difficulty in understanding these 3 points? Because this is something you will never have heard about. You might have studied a bit of the plants and flowers, but definitely not in details that we're going to go ahead with. So, anyone having any problem with the 3 points? No, na? Clear? Well, so now it is fertilization. It's fine, my dear. It doesn't matter with the spellings of. See, there are 2 types of English dialects which are accepted in our English language. One is British English, and other is. Can anyone tell me? 2 type के English होते हैं. Yes, British English and American English. So the ZA use हो सकता है या SA use हो सकता है, that doesn't matter. Right? Yeah, inflorescence is the arrangement of flowers on the axis. You're right. You're right. Okay. Now we come to the male reproductive structure, because see, we have to learn about calyx, corolla in general, but not in this chapter. There is another chapter devoted to it. So I'll not make a khichdi of it. I'll focus only on what we have to learn in this chapter. So in this chapter, we have to learn about what the male reproductive system and the female reproductive system of flowers. Right. So the male reproductive system, you have already seen the other day. And I would like you all to give me a recap. मैं भूल गई. मैंने कुछ आपको बताया था. एक पूरी कहानी ऐसे लंबी चौड़ी, एक फ्लोरल बोल रही हूँ, एक फ्लो चार्ट में मैंने कुछ आपको लिखवाया था. मैंने बताया था कि नेक्स्ट क्लास में मैं पूछूंगी तो आई वांट समवन ऑफ यू टू. Yes, exactly. Chalo, so someone has already given me that entire thing in the comment box. That's great. Yes, Krishna, very good. Very nice. Perfect. I'm very happy. Very good. Yes. Very nice, beta. Very nice. So is there any confusion over there? Naina, when you enter a dense forest, you focus on one tree. One tree will have many flowers. When you focus on one flower, you will see androecium. Androecium will be consisting of stamens. You will see many stamens. Each stamen made up of antherlobe and filament. Every lobe, yes, correct. There are 2 lobes, correct. Each lobe will have 2 pollen sacs. Each pollen sac, when you focus, will have many pollen grains. When you focus on one pollen grain, you will see 2 male gametes, not zygote, but 2 male gametes. Very nice. Yes, Kanaka, very nice. Perfect. है ना. तो ये हमने एक पूरी कहानी लास्ट क्लास में करी थी. अब उसी कहानी के बेस पे आपको ये जो अभी मैं समझाऊंगी ना, इट विल बी वेरी इजी, इट विल बी वेरी सिंपल, it will be the most simplest and the most easiest part. Just see. Okay, so we go to the structure of anther. A stamen consists of two parts, filament and anther. The proximal end of the filament is attached to the thalamus, or it is sometimes attached to the petals also. कभी कभी है ना, stamens जो होते हैं ना, वो petals को भी attach हो जाते हैं. Proximal and distal are the two opposite words. Proximal means near, distal means away. So who would be near the thalamus? The filament, right? Yes. Who would be? Very good, Krishna. You have given the second one also. Very nice. Perfectly written. Good, my dear. Very good. Who is going to be at the distal end? Distal matlab दूर पे कौन होगा? The anther. Yes, yes. Perfect. Perfect. Right? So the proximal end of the filament is attached to the thalamus, while the distal end, which is also called as the fertile region, is going to be the stamen, which is going to be at the opposite end. Fertile. अब fertile मतलब not the fertile soil जैसा बेटा, यहाँ पर fertile का मतलब है the one which is capable of producing gametes. The one which is capable of producing gametes will be called as fertile. The one which is not capable of producing gametes will be called as sterile. So sterile and fertile, तो इसके और भी meanings है, ठीक है. दूसरा meaning है sterile का free of pathogen. Free of pathogen. No pathogen is there in this. That is also called as sterile. But here when we say fertile and sterile, that means capable of making gametes, fertile. Capable of, not capable of making gametes, sterile. Okay, got it? Well, so this is the beginning of the anther ka structure. Consists of two parts, anther and filament. Filament is going to be towards the receptacle or the thalamus. Anther is going to be away from the thalamus. Anther is going to be the fertile portion. That is, it is going to be capable of making the gametes. इधर तक समझ में आ गई बात? Perfectly understood. I can move ahead with the next slide. Okay, good. Each anther is usually made up of two lobes. They are using the word usually. So, you know, in the year 19 बोल रही हूँ, in the year 2017 or 16, there was a question that select the incorrect statements from the following. Okay, and what they had made the incorrect statement as, you know, each anther is usually के जगह पर each anther is always made up of two lobes. That was a wrong statement. It is usually made up of two lobes. There have been examples wherein there is single lobed anther as well. So usually ये word important है. Usually का मतलब क्या है? Majority of the times. ठीक है? Okay. So each anther is usually made up of two lobes connected by a connective. So these two, you can see my, you know, hands. So these two, beta, you can see this is one, for example, this is one anther lobe. This is another anther lobe. The two anther lobes are connected to each other with a connective in between. Okay, right? Well, in turn, each anther lobe contains two pollen chambers placed longitudinally. I'll show you what is longitudinal placement. आगे diagram है. Each pollen chamber, single lobe also has two sacs. That is what they are saying na. Each lobe has got two pollen sacs, two pollen chambers. Same thing they are saying. Each pollen chamber represents microsporangium. So आप उसको पोलन सैक बोल सकते हो, पोलन चेम्बर बोल सकते हो, माइक्रोस्पोरैंजियम बोल सकते हो. It's one and the same. All are synonyms. What are the synonyms? Pollen sac, pollen chamber, microsporangium. All is the same. Fine. Got it? And it is filled with large number of pollen grains, or they are also called as microspores. So some times in your examinations, the question is asked based on the word microspores. Sometimes it is going to be pollen grains. Can it have more or less sac? Each will have only 2 sacs. It will not have more than 2 sacs. Always, each lobe will have 2 pollen sacs or 2 pollen chambers. Okay. A typical anther consists of 4 microsporangia, 2 in each lobe, so total 4. This condition is called as tetrasporangiate. Tetra means 4. 4 what? Sporangia. Therefore, we call them as tetrasporangiate. And such anthers are called as dithecous या फिर bithecous. Thecous का मतलब क्या होता है? Thecous means chamber. So 2 chambers or 2 lobes. Okay. What is your doubt, beta? Lobe has only 2 sacs. Agreed. But in some plants, anther can be single. Agreed. So even if it is a single lobed anther, still it will have 2 sacs only. Got it? So as I'm repeating again and again, every sac will have 2 microsporangia. Let it be bilobed, let it be unilobed. Clear? Let me complete the thing, then you put your doubts. Otherwise, I get disconnected with the topic. Fine, I'll answer your doubts, definitely. But when I'll give you chance, that time you can put your doubts. I tell you, after every slide, I ask you, Kini, can I move to the next slide or is there any doubt in that? Huh? Otherwise, what is happening? I'm neglecting your question. ऐसे तुम्हें लग रहा है तो तुम बार बार वही copy paste कर रहे हो बेटा. So I have seen your question. No, it's nothing like a sorry. I'm just telling you that I've seen your question. I'll answer your question, but it is better that when I stop explanation and when I ask you if there is any doubt, if you post your doubts that time, it will be easy for me to continue with the topic. Okay, well, so a typical anther consists of 4 microsporangia, which is called as tetrasporangiate, and such anthers are dithecous या bithecous. Tetrasporangiate मतलब 4 माइक्रोस्पोरेंजिया है. मैंने अभी बोला कि हर एक लोब में 2 माइक्रोस्पोरेंजिया होते हैं, तो इधर 4 है, तो ये 2 लोब स्ट्रक्चर हो गया. It's a 2 lobe structure, which is called as dithecous. Some books print it as bithecous. Both are correct. Example, most of the plants are going to be dithecous. Okay. Often, a longitudinal groove runs lengthwise, representing the theca. Okay. So this is like how I'm showing my hands. You can see this longitudinal groove. This is called as a longitudinal groove. The one which is going to run in a longitudinal fashion. The diagram is there. The diagram is there. इसके बाद आपको diagram में बताऊंगी ना. So definitely will come through. But what is the meaning of tetrasporangiate? What is microsporangium? What is microspore? What is dithecous? Anything that is that is not understood? Any difficulty in understanding this content? Can I move ahead? Sure. Okay. So if you have understood the content, then I'll move ahead. Theca part, na? Theca is the covering beta. I'll show you. I'll show you how the theca is. I'll show you. Longitudinal groove, na? I'll show you that also. When I show the diagram, it will be very, very simple. Groove means a depression. Groove का मतलब क्या होता है? एक depression. That's called as a groove. This is what I was talking about. Once I show the diagram, it will become easy. So can you see here, this thing, right? Yeah, bilobed anthers are called as dithecous, correct. So this is one, this is the second one. So there are 2 anther lobes over here. Okay, this is going to be the entire anther, and this is where my cursor is moving is one anther lobe, and this is the second anther lobe. Okay, now if you look over here, can you see this? ये दिखाई दे रहा है अंदर की तरफ एक डिप्रेशन जा रहा है. This depression which is moving inwards is going to be called as a groove. And how is it? It's a longitudinal groove. एक length wise जा रहा है वो. ये देखो इधर से ऐसे अंदर की तरफ जाके it's coming like this way downwards. So this is going to be called as a longitudinal groove. Now understood what is the longitudinal groove? The one which is going to begin from the center and come down. Okay. Yeah. So this is going to be your longitudinal groove. पक्का समझा ये? Well, the anther is four-sided. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4. Correct? Consisting of 4 microsporangia. You can see over here 1 microsporangia, second microsporangia, third microsporangia, fourth microsporangia. Located at the corners, 2 in each lobe. So they are towards the corner. They are not in the center. See, they are towards the corner. 1 and 2, 1 and 2. Huh? The microsporangia develops further and becomes pollen sac. So they are going to be growing further to form the pollen sac. Here there is a word called as pollen grain. So we know the pollen grains are going to be present inside the pollen sac. Now here there is something called as line of dehiscence. Can you see this? So what is exactly line of dehiscence? Yeah. I am going to answer this. So what exactly is line of dehiscence? Dehiscence का मतलब होता है rupturing या फिर फट जाना. हमारे normal language में कुछ like you know anything that ruptures is going to be called as dehiscence. So dehiscence means to rupture for some reason. So this rupturing is for releasing pollen grains. So pollen grains कहाँ से release हो जाएंगे? Along with the line of dehiscence. Simple बात बताऊं? Simple बताओ line of dehiscence. आपने checkbook देखा है? Have you all seen the checkbook? I'm sure all of you have seen the checkbook. Okay. So checkbook पे हम लिखते हैं जो भी किसी को वो check देना है. Yes, Krishna, very correct. So how do you tear that check? बीच में से कैसे भी फाड़ देते हो क्या? आपको अगर किसी को चेक देना है तो आप कहाँ से फाड़ते हो उसको? From what area I want to tear it? Dotted lines, exactly. So that dotted lines in the line of dehiscence. From where वो फट जाएगा, वो rupture हो जाएगा, वो बराबर separate हो जाएगा. Now you got it. What is line of dehiscence? Now simple na. Now at least you can imagine. Right? So the way the checkbook has got those perforated lines for every check, when you tear it, it's going to be torn in a very systematic way along the dotted lines. So those dotted lines will be called as what? Line of dehiscence. Correct na? Now simple. अरे सिंपल है बायो, बहुत सिंपल है. मतलब डेली के अपने एग्जाम्पल्स देके अगर हम लोग इसको एनालाइज करेंगे ना, यू विल रियली नॉट फाइंड एनीथिंग डिफिकल्ट. हाँ, ओनली द थिंग इज you have to correlate with your everyday life के examples, जिसके लिए मैं बैठी हूँ. Don't worry, I am there for that. So I hope you all have understood this diagram also and the content also. Connective in this diagram, will be present between these two, you know, like इनके बीच में आता है यहाँ पर ये लाइन की, यहाँ just connecting the two internally. Okay. Reason for the anther to be bilobed, or it is just the natural morphology? See, basically it is an adaptation for making maximum pollen grains, because majority of the pollen grains now they get wasted, so they have to make many pollen grains. So at least few would be able to reach the stigma of the right type of the flower, and the progeny would be then formed. So it's like a type of adaptation actually. Okay. Right? Well, so this diagram comes for you all to draw in your 12th standard board examination. आपकी NCERT के textbook में ये diagram है, और आपके government textbook में भी ये diagram है. So draw neat and label diagram of the anther along with the internal positions of the pollen sac. So you will have to draw this. This comes for 3 marks. ठीक है, बिकॉज ये बोर्ड वाला चैप्टर है ना बेटा, ये 12th का चैप्टर है ना, तो आई हैव टू प्रिपेयर योर फॉर बोर्ड्स आल्सो, करेक्ट? It should be 10 marks. No, no, no. It is only 3 marks. Okay, so I hope you all have followed this. I'll go to the next one. Microsporangia and pollen sac, there is no difference. Both are synonyms. Both are synonyms. One and the same. Oh, now we go to a very important point, that is structure of microsporangium. First, the pollen sac are surrounded by 4 layers. What the last point? Where is the last point? So immature, say mature, but even after maturation, pollen sac will be called as microsporangia only. One and the same. Okay. Yeah. Well, so the pollen sac or the microsporangia will be surrounded by 4 layers. देखो वो जो microsporangia है ना बेटा, उसके अंदर pollen grains बनते हैं. So pollen grains are very important because they are going to carry the male gametes. So pollen grains are very important. तो उनको प्रोटेक्शन के हिसाब से उनके ऊपर 4 लेयर्स का कोटिंग होता है, 4 लेयर्ड कोट. Fine. So which are the 4 layers? Let us understand those. First layer will be called as epidermis. It's a thumb rule for all plant chapters. The outermost layer will always be called as epidermis. So epidermis, this is the outermost single layer which is protective in function. Okay, so outermost hai, single layer hai. What do you mean by single layer? It's only going to be 1 layer thick, single layered thick. Okay, the second is endothelium. It is not endodermis. Many of the students in the paper, बाहर का epidermis, अंदर का endodermis. नहीं बेटा, the second layer is not endodermis. Again, I am repeating. The second layer is called as endothelium and not endodermis. Okay. It lies inner to the epidermis. There is a single layer of radially elongated cells. Radially elongated cells. Radially का मतलब क्या है? They are radiating. Means they are going to be moving, moving in the sense they are going to be placed in such a way that they are going to be from the center to the periphery, and again they make one single layer. So 1 layer of epidermis, 1 layer of endothelium. But now one more thing, my dear, in your NCERT textbook, this content is given in a very shortcut way. So I am not going to take that shortcut method. I am going to teach you everything which is going to be asked in your examinations. So please understand these points very nicely. What is your doubt, beta? Epidermis basically means the outer covering. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Perfect. Yes. Epi means outside. Derma means skin. So outer layer of the skin. Epidermis. Exactly like in humans also we have got this. Correct? Yeah. Radially elongated, center to the periphery, they are going to be elongated in a radiating fashion. Radiating means this is sun rays radiate hote hai na, something like that. So they are going to be present below the epidermis, from the center to the periphery. ऐसे बड़े-बड़े cells होते हैं. They are large cells. Fine. Cells of the endothelium develop fibrous thickenings. Very important point. Very important point. The endothelium cells are going to develop fibrous thickenings made up of cellulose with a little pectin and lignin. Cellulose, I think majority of you all know what is cellulose. Right? It's a polymer of glucose which is going to be present only in plants. Right? In the same way, pectin and lignin are again 2 products, chemicals produced by the plants. What is pectin and what is lignin is going to be there in one of your chapters later on. In detail, is like completely you will be coming to you will come across this word pectin and lignin. But let me tell you, lignin is something which is very resistant. लिग्निन को ब्रेक करना बहुत मुश्किल हो जाता है. Lignin is going to give sturdiness, strength, capacity to withstand pressure. Everything is because of the lignin. And pectin किधर present होता है पता है आपको? देखिए, if you eat mangoes, I know you all eat mangoes. कभी कभी क्या होता है, एक पार्ट से है ना मैंगो पचक जाता है एकदम से, देखा है आपने? या फिर ऐसे रिंकल्ड हो जाता है, इट बिकम्स रिंकल्ड. या फिर बनाना, बनाना, you have seen banana, it becomes very soft, and when you put your finger inside, ऐसे अंदर चला जाता है आपका finger. Right now, so these fruits, these vegetables, they become, you know, very loose and slimy. That is because the pectin is lost, injured. Yeah, yes, Anika, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it sometimes becomes black also. Yes, Shan, you're right, but it becomes blackish in color. You know why? Because उस area का pectin है ना चला गया, degrade हो गया. So pectin gives rigidity. It gives, what we say, tight-skinned fruit or a tight-skinned or freshness जो होती है ना. भिंडी देखिए अपनी भिंडी, भिंडी को हम कैसे देखते हैं, फ्रेश है कि नहीं है? उसका जो टेपरिंग एंड है वो ऐसे हम लोग तोड़ के देखते हैं ना, वो करारा है या नहीं है. वो जो करारापन है, that crunchiness of fruits, that crunchiness of vegetables is because of pectin. Now you understood what is pectin? So pectin is also a chemical that is going to be synthesized by the plant itself, which is going to give freshness, impart rigidity, and it's going to impart, that crunchiness to the fruits, to the flowers also. Flowers also have got pectin. If you know like that hibiscus flower, shoe flower, जब आप चढ़ाते हो भगवान के ऊपर, अगर आप उसको चढ़ाते हो ना, तो कुछ टाइम के बाद है ना, इट्स गोइंग टू बिकम, वो मुरझा जाता है. Why? Because the pectin undergoes quick degradation. Yeah, it is useful for keeping freshness. More is the pectin, more are the fruits, vegetables, flowers want to remain fresh. Okay? Huh. Yeah. Got it now? So this endothelium is going to have thickenings, which is going to be having cellulose along with pectin and lignin. तो वो जो thickenings है बीच बीच में, in the layer of that endothelium, there is going to be thickening, and these thickenings are actually going to be responsible to act as the dotted lines of your checkbook. So they are the line of dehiscence. So now you understood the line of dehiscence which I had explained just now. Who makes that dotted line? So it is the fibrous thickenings that are going to make this dotted line. Got it? Now clear? So that is what is very important, beta. That when we saw in the earlier picture the line of dehiscence, I told you what do you mean by dehiscence. I told you what do you mean by line of dehiscence. But who creates such type of line of dehiscence in these anther? So it's going to be the fibrous thickenings. What are the fibrous thickenings made up of? Cellulose, pectin, lignin. Now clear? No problem with this content? Huh? In between these cells, a few cells without thickening are also present. These thick-walled cells collectively form stomium. So this dotted line, this line of dehiscence, okay, is going to be collectively called as what? Stomium. Fine. Remember this word stomium. It has been asked many times in your examinations. So what is stomium? Thick-walled cells of the endothelium, which is made up of cellulose, pectin, and lignin, is called as stomium. Okay. So epidermis and endothelium. Out of the 4 layers, we have seen 2 layers. Any difficulty with the 2 layers? Function of lignin is to give strength and support, and pectin is to give freshness. These are thick-walled cells collectively, which is going to be called as stomium. Sure. Got this? Understood? Very nice. Can we move ahead? Let us look at the next two layers. The next two layers is the third layer, which is going to be called as middle layer. What we call it as middle layer. So outermost epidermis, उसके अंदर endothelium, उसके अंदर middle layer. तो हम बाहर से अंदर आ रहे हैं बेटा. We are coming from outside to inside. Middle layer is 3 to 4 layers of thin-walled cells situated just below the endothelium. So this is not one layered thick. How many layers thick? 3 to 4 layers thick. Correct? Got it? तो देखो बेटा, कभी कभी है ना, आप सैंडविच खाते हो. सैंडविच, you eat sandwich? Oh, all of us eat sandwich. उसमें क्या है? You will make at home. तुम्हारे घर पे सैंडविच बनती है कि नहीं? टोस्ट सैंडविच, वेज सैंडविच. हाँ, एग्जैक्टली. तो जब हम सैंडविच बनाते हैं ना, तो जो हमें अच्छा लगता है ना, सपोज इफ यू लाइक मोर ऑफ कुकुम्बर, तो आप क्या करोगे? सिंगल ऑफ लेयर ऑफ कुकुम्बर के जगह पर 2-3 लेयर्स ऑफ कुकुम्बर डालोगे. इफ यू लाइक टमेटोज, यू विल पुट मोर ऑफ टमेटोज लेयर्ड, है ना. इफ यू लाइक पोटैटो, आई एम श्योर all of you all are of that type only, but you like potato na. You may hate tomato, you may hate cucumber, but I'm sure you will like potatoes. Potato sandwich bhi khate hain log, pata hai? हाँ, yeah, potato. Okay. So you'll make what? 2-3 layers of potato. If you want to make like, if you like chicken sandwiches, then you want to add more layers of the chicken, right? Correct. So what we like the most, we make it multi-layered, right? तो सबसे पहले बेस पे क्या लगाते हैं हम सैंडविच बनाने के टाइम पे? What do we add? सैंडविच बनाने को स्टार्ट किया तो सबसे पहले क्या लगाओगे? वेरी गुड भूमि, आई एम गोइंग टू कम टू योर हाउस टू हैव वेज सैंडविच. ओके, परफेक्ट आंसर दिया. ब्रेड के ऊपर सबसे पहले यू विल ऐड बटर. करेक्ट. ऑन द बटर, सो बटर बिकम्स योर एपिडर्मिस के जैसा. हाँ या ना? हाँ, उसके ऊपर what you going to add बेटा? Yes, चटनी लगाओगे. Perfect. Well, yes, वैष्णवी, सेकंड सैंडविच की पार्टी तुम्हारे घर पे, तुमने फर्स्ट आंसर दिया. अभी बाकी के लोग हैं ना, मुझे आंसर ही नहीं देंगे. नहीं तो बोलोगे कि मिस बोलेगी सबके घर पे आने वाली है. हाँ, तो जनरली we add single layer of butter, we add single layer of chutney, and then you stuff with whatever you like in multi layers. है या नहीं? You stuff it with multi layers ना. Tomatoes, cucumber, हाँ, potato, जो भी है. करेक्ट ना? तो आपने उसको बड़ा किया, उसका वॉल्यूम बढ़ाया, जो आपको अच्छा लगता है ज्यादा. सेम भी होती है अपनी मिडिल लेयर. मिडिल लेयर इज नॉट सिंगल लेयर्ड बेटा. मिडिल लेयर इज गोइंग टू बी 3 to 4 layers thick. Now you understood the meaning of 3 to 4 layers thick. So it's going to be really thick. All together will be called as what? The middle layer. Yes. And at last repeat telling us, yes, but perfect. Right. So now you know what is thick. Thick का मतलब समझ में आया. 3 to 4 layers thick. And where is it? Just below the endothelium. Cells of this layer are ephemeral and degenerate to provide nourishment to the growing microspore mother cell. Kindly star mark this particular point. Star mark जब बोलती हूँ ना मैं बेटा, whenever I use the word star mark, that means 2023 NEET examination. High probability of this question being asked. Okay, so wherever I'll be using the word star mark it, please ensure you will not neglect that point. I mean, you're not going to neglect any point, but specifically that particular point needs to be remembered very precisely. So this point is a star mark point. Yeah, exactly. So ये जो है ना, हाँ, या बच्चा, तो यही चाट मसाला वाला पॉइंट बता रही हूँ मैं. कौन सा? The cells of the middle layer are ephemeral, degenerate to provide nourishment to the developing microspore mother cells. ये वाला point. This point, my dear, this point, this point is very important, expected to be asked. Now, I'll explain this point, okay? Cells of this layer means middle layer, है ना? Are ephemeral. Ephemeral का मतलब होता है temporary. What do you mean by the word ephemeral? Temporary. Please make a note of this thing. Ephemeral. We don't use the word temporary in case of bio. We use the word ephemeral. But the meaning of ephemeral is what? Temporary. So the cells of the middle layer are ephemeral and degenerate. देखो वो टेम्पररी है इसीलिए तो डीजेनरेट होते हैं ना. अगर वो परमानेंट होते तो डीजेनरेट होते थे क्या? नो. So they are temporary and they degenerate. And why do they degenerate? What is the reason for their degeneration? It is nothing but they want to provide nourishment. To whom? To whom? To the microspore mother cells. I've already told you the meaning of the mother cells, but still I'll repeat. Mother cells का मतलब होता है those cells which are capable of undergoing meiosis. The cells which are capable of undergoing meiosis, those cells are called as mother cells. Agreed? अब इसका नाम है MMC, microspore mother cells. Means these mother cells, when undergo meiosis, will give rise to microspores. Okay? So what is microspore mother cells? Those mother cells which on completing meiosis will give rise to microspores. समझ में आया आपको? है कोई डिफिकल्टी बेटा? तो माइक्रोस्पोर मदर सेल को कौन नरिशमेंट दे रहा है? उनको नरिशमेंट की क्यों जरूरत है? Why do they require nourishment? Because unless and until they don't get nourishment, they won't get the energy to undergo meiosis. And we have already seen meiosis requires or mitosis requires energy. Without energy, the cell division is not possible. So for the cell division to occur, energy चाहिए. एनर्जी कहाँ से मिलेगी? न्यूट्रिशन से. न्यूट्रिशन कौन प्रोवाइड करेगा? मिडिल लेयर के सेल. इज दिस फिटिंग इन योर माइंड? आर यू ऑल गेटिंग इट करेक्टली? या इज देयर एनी डिफिकल्टी इन अंडरस्टैंडिंग द मिडिल लेयर बेटा? एंड एस्पेशली दिस पॉइंट. So cells of the middle layer are ephemeral, that is they are temporary because they degenerate to provide nourishment to the developing or the growing microspore mother cells. Microspore mother cells are those group of cells which will undergo meiosis to form microspores. Good na? Clear na? All of you? So 3 layers: epidermis, endothelium, and middle layer. Epidermis, outermost, single layer. Endothelium, below the epidermis, single layered with fibrous thickenings in some of the cells for making line of dehiscence. Third, middle layer, 3 to 4 layers thick. Below the endothelium, the cells of the middle layer are ephemeral. They are going to degenerate to provide nourishment to the growing microspore mother cells. दिमाग के अंदर जा रहा है कि दिमाग के ऊपर जा रहा है भाई तुम्हारे? हाँ, is it going inside or is it going above? I want all of you all for making this information go inside. हाँ, ऊपर नहीं. Okay. Ephemeral is temporary. Microspore mother cell is the cell which is capable of undergoing meiosis to produce 4 microspores. Okay. Anywhere, wherever in the entire bio na beta, wherever you come across the word mother cell na, remember mother cell का मतलब होता है capable of undergoing meiosis. ठीक है? Whose function? Microspore mother cell's function is to produce microspores or pollen grains. The function of microspore mother cell is to give rise to pollen grains or the microspores. Okay? Clear, beta? Understood this? The function of microspore mother cell is to give rise to 4 microspores या फिर mother pollen grains. Well, any doubt till here? Come on, tell me. Any confusion, any doubt till here? How will degeneration of middle layers provide nourishment to the growing microspore mother cells? Whatever the cell cytoplasm will contain, whatever nutrients will be present in the cell cytoplasm of these layers will be now given to the microspore mother cells, which will utilize that as a source of food and derive energy from it. Okay, got it? It's going to lyse out, it's going to burst away, it's going to get destroyed. Okay, my dear. Can I move to the 4th layer and the most important layer of this anther? Yes, Peter. Okay, so let's go to the 4th one. And the 4th one is the most important one. Now you will say, Miss, आप सब कुछ important ही बोल रहे हो, अभी क्या करूँ, ये important है तो है ना? कभी कभी इसमें से 12 क्वेश्चंस आते हैं, 12 क्वेश्चंस, 12 पोजा 48 marks only from this particular chapter also. I haven't come to the sporopollenin. I haven't talked about sporopollenin. I'm yet to start with tapetum. I have not told you anything about these things. Where are you, my dear? I'm into this now. I'm going to start with tapetum now. So you cannot omit anything. You came across an NCRT, na? Yeah. I'm going to talk about it, because I'm going to talk about it. Okay. So what is tapetum? We don't call it as tapetum. It's called as tapetum. Okay. This is the innermost layer of the wall. The cells of this wall or this particular tapetum are multinucleate. What do you mean by the word multinucleate? One cell, many nuclei. What is multi? Many. Nucleate, nuclei. So each cell of this tapetum will be having many nuclei. They undergo endopolyploidy. Endo means inside, poly means many, ploidy means chromosome numbers. Endo inside, poly many, ploidy sets of chromosomes, number of chromosomes. Okay, and polyploid. So they are multinucleate and polyploid basically. Again, as I say, poly means many. So it may contain more than 2n of the chromosomes. So it could be 3n, 4n, 5n, 6n. Okay, we all are going to have only 2n. Human beings में कभी polyploid ही नहीं होती है. But in plants, polyploid is seen. Okay, for example, you know what? The bread that we eat, bread that we eat. So the sliced bread that we eat, it is made up of hexapolyploid wheat. Hexapolyploid means it has got 6x number of chromosomes. It has got 6x number of chromosomes. So wheat mein hai na, haploid number is 7. Diploid will be 14. Triploid 21. Tetraploid 28. Pentaploid 35. Hexaploid 7 6 42. It contains 42 chromosomes inside its nucleus. Okay, that is hexaploid. And the maida that we get from the market, maida, that maida is going to be actually octaploid wheat. Okay, so hexaploid, septaploid, octaploid, that is called as polyploid. Okay, poly means many, ploidy means number of chromosome के set. कितने? Hexaploid मतलब 6 set of the chromosomes. Fine na? Octaploid means 8 sets of the chromosome. Fine, like that way. So here they are saying the cells are multinucleate which undergo endopolyploidy. If the chromosome number changes, then how will it remain as wheat? It remains as wheat only. Why will it not remain as wheat? It is a variety of wheat. They are just different number of chromosome sets of the same plant in that one particular grain. Okay. One set means pair. No, one set means one haploid set. One set का मतलब होता है one haploid set. So 7 is the haploid set. Hexaploid will be 7 into 6. Octaploid will be 7 into 8 for the wheat. In human beings ऐसे नहीं होता है. We are never triploid. We will not have 46 plus 23 chromosomes at all. Never. Okay, नहीं तो alien पैदा हो जाएंगे सारे. It's never a case in human beings or other animals. This is only seen in certain plants. Okay, you wanted me to repeat endopolyploid. Endo means inside. Poly means many. Ploidy means sets of chromosomes. So in a multinucleate condition, so each nuclei, suppose there is one cell. In one cell, suppose there are 10 nuclei. Each nuclei may contain 6 sets of chromosomes, like that way. Now you understood what is this multinucleate condition? Sure? Okay. Fine. So that is multinucleate and polyploid. So all the terms clear now. No confusion with that. The cells are multinucleate, endopolyploidy and polyploidy. Pakka samjha? Good. In these tapetal cells, tapetal cells provide nourishment to the developing pollen grain. So see, middle layer was providing nourishment to the pollen sac, but tapetum is providing nourishment to whom? To whom? To the pollen grain. तो एक जो है वो माइक्रोस्पोर मदर सेल को प्रोवाइड कर रहा था. अब ये जो है ये पोलन ग्रेन को नरिशमेंट प्रोवाइड कर रहा है. तो अगेन आई एम टेलिंग यू ऑल, यहाँ पर बहुत बड़ी मिस्टेक सब लोग करते हो बेटा. प्लीज डोंट डू दिस ब्लंडर. मिडिल लेयर इज गोइंग टू प्रोवाइड नरिशमेंट टू, इफ द क्वेश्चन कम्स लाइक दैट वे, इट इज द माइक्रोस्पोर मदर सेल. And if the question is tapetum provides nourishment too, it's going to be the developing pollen grain. No. Pollen sac is just going to be a layer in which they are going to be held inside. Okay. So it is not going to be, pollen sac is actually not any other, layer. It is the layer of the tapetum and the middle layer and the endothelium and the epidermis together make the sac-like structure. Right? Got it? Very. So please focus on these minute detailings even in your examinations. Even your tests, your DAT, VAT, MAT, जो भी है ना, इसमें ये regular frequently asked questions होते हैं. Look at the question very precisely. You know the answer, but the only thing is you are in a stupid hurry. I don't know why are you in a hurry. Okay. Yes, beta. Yes, you are right, Krishna. Pollen sac contains mother cells, microspore mother cells. Perfect. Okay. Very good. Okay, my dear. So next point. In the tapetal cells, the Upish bodies are present, which help in the ornamentation of microspore walls. Ornamentation, क्या नाम दिया है ना, मतलब एकदम से हमारे दिमाग में सारे ornaments आ जाते हैं, right? It's not that ornament. Ornamentation का मतलब है beautification, giving different shape, giving different, variations to the pollen grains. So sometimes the pollen grains are spiny, Sometimes they are smooth. Designs, yes, yes, various designs. How to pronounce Yubish bodies? It's called as Yubish, Yubish bodies. Okay. So these Yubish bodies, they are going to be responsible for the decoration of the pollen grain. The decoration word भी सही होता था. Ornamentalization and ornamentation एकदम खतरनाक. मतलब दिमाग के सामने ornaments खड़े होने ही चाहिए आपके. Correct. But वो NCERT language है. We can't help it. So sometimes, the pollen grains will have spiny structure. Sometimes it will be smooth. Sometimes it will have a design which is going to be, like a typical chessboard का design होता है उसके ऊपर, pollen grain के ऊपर. Sometimes the pollen grains are ribbon shaped. Yeah, they are ribbon shaped pollen grains. Sometimes the pollen grains are needle shaped. So who makes all these things? It is made by the Yubish bodies. And where is the Yubish bodies? The Yubish bodies are present in the tapetum. Correct? Yeah. You can see various areas. आगे diagram है pollen grain का. दिखाऊंगी मैं तुम्हें बेटा. So ये जो pollen grain है ना, हाँ, that is the arrangement. See, that is how the Yubish bodies are going to be interwoven to make these different, beautiful structures. No, bilobe is the anther. Anther has got the fourth layer called as the tapetum, which is going to have Yubish bodies, which will create designs of the pollen grain. Nothing to do with the bilobe. Yeah, that is the reason. Yes, Vaishnavi. That is the reason people have got pollen grain allergies. वो अंदर जाते हैं pollen grains तो छींक आने लगती है, पता है कि नहीं? People start sneezing because of this pollen allergies. गंदा गंदा वाला होता है, एकदम ऐसे tickling effect आता है अंदर if it goes inside pollen grains, right? Exactly. So it is because of the Yubish bodies. They are responsible to make the pollen grains so much, allergic. Some, majority of the pollens are going to be allergic. Majority of them. Huh? Yeah, they are allergic. Yeah, in the sense, even we will sneeze, but in some people, they'll get fever and all. Otherwise, normal case में छींक आके ना वो pollen grains सारे निकल जाते हैं हमारे system से. But some people are more allergic to all these things. So they'll develop fever, running nose, red nose. They'll fall sick. So some people are more allergic. Like everyone has got some or the other allergic reactions probably. But the only thing is you don't come to know that you're allergic to what sometimes. Like allergy to dust is very common. Allergy to pollution is very common, right? So everyone like have got their, some people are allergic to cold food, cold, like if they consume cold water and all, they fall sick. Some are allergic to curd. Some are allergic to even apna cheese, milk. Yes. Yeah, sometimes it happens, but nuts, yeah. Nuts, peanuts also. Yes, I agree. So different people have got different allergies. Sometimes you don't even come to know that you're allergic to what. I'm allergic to wool. I come across, if I brush my skin against wool, I get rashes on my body. I'm allergic, highly allergic to wool. I cannot bear woolen clothes. So everyone, like some people have got some weird allergies also. Yeah, oily food also, yes. But like in my case, so like I when I was very small, that time when I was made to wear the sweaters, I have to have rashes all over the body. Then my mama could this like detect that she is probably allergic to wool, because whenever I make her wear a sweater, that time she is developing that rash on the body. So never ever I can wear any woolen clothes, not at all. that allergy is a common allergy to all the bio students, I would say. It's not you. You're not an exception. You're not an exception. No, in winter, I now got adapted to the cold. I mean, I never feel cold. Uh, Shwet is asking what allergy? They itch. My rashes, they itch also. A lot of itching with the woolen contact. Which allergy? There's one of your friend who is telling me that he's allergic to one particular subject of 12th standard. 11th and 12th का एक particular subject जो आपको 10th तक compulsory था. I won't take the name. You all decide your own. You all decide your own. I won't take any name. I can't do that. समझने वाले को इशारा काफी होता है भाई. हाँ, सब कुछ मेरे से बुलवाओगे क्या अब? हाँ. That's what I said. You all decide. Okay, chalo. Jokes apart, bacha. So you understood what is Ubish bodies, na? So Ubish bodies are going to be the ones which are present in the tapetum, which are going to be responsible for the beautiful designs that's called as ornamentation of the microspore walls or the pollen walls, right? A compound called as sporopollenin is also going to be secreted in the exine of the microspore wall. अब इधर ये जो language आपके books ने दी है ना बेटा, look at it. Firstly, they are not explaining what is exine. Secondly, they are not saying what is sporopollenin also. So how you will come to know about it? So what is exine? First try to understand that. Okay. Exine is the outermost wall of pollen grain. What is exine? Outermost wall of pollen grain. ठीक है? Okay. इसका मतलब inner wall भी रहेगा pollen grain का है. Inner wall भी है. The inner wall is called as intine. Yes, Siddhika, बिल्कुल correct. Intine is inner. Exine is outer. So this outer layer of the pollen grain is made up of a chemical called as sporopollenin. But this sporopollenin will be secreted by whom? Tapetum. Therefore, it is coming under tapetum. Okay, na? So tapetum is doing so many things. It is multinucleate. It is polyploid. It is providing nourishment to the developing pollen grains. It is making the Ubish bodies, which is giving a decorative, pattern to the outer wall of the pollen grain. It is secreting sporopollenin, which is a chemical which is resistant to. Sporopollenin is a chemical which is resistant to everything. So it is resistant to everything. What is it? Very hard working. Seriously, देखो ना. So sporopollenin is resistant to heat. It is resistant to low temperatures. It is resistant to acids. It is resistant to alkali. It is resistant to microbial attack. It is resistant to everything. Oh my God, look at it now. How beautiful. And this sporopollenin कौन बना रहा है? Tapetum. Tapetum is going to be like whole and soul of the pollen grain. नहीं लग रहा है तुम्हें? सब कुछ बेचारा, it is taking care of the pollen grains, right? Understood? So any difficulty in understanding any of the points on this slide? Middle layer and tapetum इधर तक, आगे भी है tapetum continued, but इधर तक कोई difficulty है तो देखो बेटा. Advantage of being multinucleate: more is the nuclei, more will be the capacity to provide nourishment, and more will be the nourishment, more would be the energy. More is the energy, better would be the pollen grain ka health. Okay. Yes, sporopollenin is the outer layer of the pollen grain. Yes, bacha. Got it? All of you, read the points. Bhumi, I wanted someone to ask this question, and you have asked this, and I'm very happy that you have asked it. Great, beta. Bhumi is asking, Miss, how the sporopollenin would be broken down then? Very beautiful question. I'll tell you the answer to this. Definitely, I'll tell you the answer. Okay, but let us first, if there are any doubts on this, I'll first clear those. No? Done? Okay. Last point, a compound called as sporopollenin. Sporopollenin is a chemical. It is going to be produced by the tapetal cells. Okay, and this sporopollenin is going to be secreted in the exine. Exine is the outer layer of the pollen wall. So ये जो चार लेयर है ये एंथर वॉल है. एंथर के कौन से चार वॉल्स है बेटा? एपिडर्मिस, एंडोथीशियम, मिडिल लेयर, टपेटम. अब टपेटम के अंदर होते हैं अपने पोलन ग्रेन. हाँ, तो पोलन ग्रेन एंड टपेटम एक दूसरे के बिल्कुल करीब है, चिपके है. So whatever sporopollenin will be synthesized is going to be in the exine of the microspore का wall or the pollen grain का wall. ठीक है? Then it should be used in almost every protective layer, but it is very difficult to extract that ना. You can see the position कितना inner करके है. Correct? Okay. So the tapetum is of two types. Amoeboidal tapetum, it's also called as periplasmodial tapetum, or it could be secretory tapetum or glandular tapetum. What is this? Now let us understand. Amoeboidal का मतलब क्या है? Like amoeba, you know the shape of amoeba. In young condition, cell wall of tapetal cells break, so the protoplast of these cells become free between microspore mother cell and form a mass of tapetal periplasmodium. So very simple language में मैं बताती हूँ तो तुम्हें समझ में आ जाएगा कि what I want to tell here. हाँ? You take marbles. Marbles पता है ना? Brain मीटा खेलते हो तो you know what are marbles. Take marbles in a bowl. Okay? Pour water on it. What will happen? Where will the water go? Where will the water go? Will the water go inside the marbles or will it be in between the marbles? In between, correct? So probably, you can do one more good thing. Take a balloon filled with water. Take a balloon filled with water. उसके ऊपर तुम ये मार्बल्स रख दो और फिर उस बलून को तोड़ दो, फोड़ दो, whatever. तो पानी पूरा बाहर निकलेगा and that water will go and it will get settled between the spaces between the adjacent marbles. That is your amoeboidal tapetum. So in the young conditions only, the tapetal cells burst, they break, and whatever protoplasmic content it is going to have will be discharged outside, surrounding the free spaces of the microspore mother cells. So till now microspores का formation नहीं हुआ है बेटा. Still the pollen grains have not yet been formed. उसके पहले ही ये पूरा का पूरा जो प्रोटोप्लाज्म है वो उस माइक्रोस्पोर मदर सेल्स के आजू बाजू में कलेक्ट हो गया. Got it? And forms a mass of tapetal periplasmodium. A mass of means माइक्रोस्पोर मदर सेल और उसके बाजू में पूरा वो टपेटम का जो कंटेंट बाहर निकल आया है वो. Understood is amoeboidal or periplasmodial? Simple now. Or still confusion with amoeboidal? Clear? Okay. Well, let us see the second one. That is the secretory or glandular. This is the most common type of tapetum which remains in situ as such throughout. In situ means there and then, not bursting, not coming out, nothing. Okay, that is called as in situ, in that place. जैसे तुम्हारे बुक्स होते हैं in situ, हाँ, ड्रॉर में रख दिए in situ, कभी वो बाहर निकलेंगे ही नहीं, है ना? In situ, your books are in situ or do they come out of the cupboards? निकलते हैं कभी बाहर? ex situ होते हैं? only before the examinations, just before the test. Hibernate, na? I know they are in hibernation. Only during exam ex situ. Otherwise in situ. Drawer में इतने अच्छे. Oh my God, you maintain it in situ so perfectly. Huh? That is in situ. In situ का मतलब होता है there and then, without movement. जैसे रखे वैसे के वैसे. इत्तू से भी नहीं हिलते हैं वो. Huh? You're giving them space. No need of so much of space. I don't know, maintenance bad होते तो I don't want any of the books to be in situ of any of the subjects, huh? Books should not rest, huh? They should not rest in peace, Baba. Never. Book should be always going to be the most, huh? सबसे ज्यादा उनका need होता है. Resting till NEET खत्म फिर. कुछ NEET नहीं होगा NEET में. मराठी में NEET का मतलब होता है सही. Perfect. नीट का मतलब होता है परफेक्ट इन मराठी भी से नीट झालं मीन्स परफेक्ट हो गया. नीट तक अगर उनको तुम इन सिटू रखोगे तो नीट में नीट कुछ नहीं होगा. Chance to be in situ na. That's good, Akanksha. That's good. हाँ? Exactly, वैष्णवी. If नीट ही नीट नहीं होगा तो फिर क्या होगा ना. फिर तो मतलब बजेगी भाई. Yeah, so language makes a lot of funny things, right? For cleaning drawers, no, use it, come on. But you all understood what is the meaning of in situ very perfectly. You will never forget in situ even if you meet me after 10 years, na? है ना? 10 साल के बाद भी अगर मुझे मिलोगे तो तुम्हें बराबर याद रहेगा in situ क्या बताया था, क्या definition था. Well, so let us come to the next point. है ना? Yes, wait, perfect. हाँ वो तो बात खत्म. 10th is gone ना, so that's okay. Now we are in 11th, so all in situs have to be ex situs now, right? Okay, see, so the tapetal cells secrete nourishment. Only that nourishment will pass into the sporogenous cells. Okay, so in case of glandular tapetum, na, only the secretions will move, but the cells won't burst. Cells are in situ. Cells are not going to move. Cells are not going to burst. Cells are not going to break. Nothing will happen. But the content of the cells will be passed on to the sporogenous cells. Remember the word sporogenous cells. This, what is sporogenous cells, मैं आगे बताऊंगी, but just remember the word sporogenous cells. This tapetum attains its maximum development at the stage of pollen tetrads and then they degenerate. Pollen tetrad means meiosis complete होने के बाद 4 pollen grains बनेंगे ना बेटा. After the completion of meiosis, 4 pollen grains will be formed. So this 1, 2, 3, 4 pollen ka group will be called as a pollen tetrad. So till the pollen tetrad is formation, nothing will happen to glandular tapetum. It will remain as it is. And once the pollen tetrads have formed, then they will degenerate. जैसे एक बार तुम नीट एग्जाम पास कर लोगे, बाद में ये बुक्स तुम्हारे इन सिटू क्या, एक्स सिटू क्या, एक्स हाउस हो जाएंगे, है ना? Yeah, beta Shan, I know. Okay, na? Okay. That is what I'm coming to, my dears. Wait. So you understood what is the meaning of this? Till the pollen grains has been formed, the glandular tapetum is in situ. And once it is formed, it is degenerating. Neat khatam, baat khatam, books khatam, सब कुछ खत्म है या नहीं? फिर तो नहीं रखोगे. Oh, is it? बाबा जला मत दो, उसके वजह से तुम्हारा सिलेक्शन हुआ है, तो एटलीस्ट गिव टू समवन हु इज इन नीड ऑफ इट. हाँ, it is not a sardar. Yeah, sporogenous cells, what are those? I'm going to tell you. Okay. जी ले अपनी जिंदगी after the exam na to the books. Yeah, that is a better thing. That's a better option. If we burn books, then all our study burn nothing like that. Okay. So you wanted me to explain the second point of the secretory or the glandular epithelium, that a petal cell secrete nourishment. इधर तक तो समझ में आ गया. They pass into the sporogenous cell, नहीं पता चलेगा. So what is sporogenous cell मैं आगे explain कर दी. I'm explaining on the next slide only what is going to be the sporogenous cell. But till here you all have understood the two types of tapetum, amoeboidal subtapetum and secretory or glandular tapetum. And what is the action of nourishment? एक बिखर जाएगा पहले ही फॉर माइक्रोस्पोर मदर सेल्स के लिए, और दूसरा इंटैक्ट रहेगा, इन सिटू रहेगा, allowing the nourishment to pass into the sporogenous cells. Pollen tetrad, after the meiosis has been completed, 4 pollen grains will be formed. These 4 pollen grains, 4 है ना, so it is going to be called as a tetrad of pollen. ठीक है? Okay. Yeah. Now this is the diagram where you will understand the things very clearly. So here you can see over here the outermost layer. I'll move this also. Yeah. So here you can see very well bilobed pollen, a bilobed anther having 2 microsporangia per lobe. Okay, this is the connective which is going to be present between the 2 lobes for its connection, right? Now this is the epidermis, outermost. Second layer is endothelium. The third layer is the middle layer. The fourth layer is the tapetum. And at the center, they are using the word sporogenous tissue. Can you see the word sporogenous tissue? Exactly. So the center, which is going to be made up of sporogenous tissue. Same. Now they are going to look at over here. Look here. What are they doing? They're zooming this region. They're zooming this region, and here you can see epidermis, single layer. Here they go, outermost. Correct? One layer. Here you can see the second layer, which is going to be the endothelium. Can you see the second layer? Endothelium, single layer. उसके नीचे ये देखो middle layer, which is around 3 to 4 layers thick. Here they have shown 3 layers. Okay. Then you can very well see these cells with the nuclei. Can you see them? That is the tapetum. That is the tapetum. And here you can see one cell which is labeled as microspore mother cell. Can you see this? Microspore mother cell. So this microspore mother cell will undergo meiosis to form 4 pollen grains called as pollen tetrad. ठीक है, दिखाने के लिए उन्होंने यहाँ पर ये एक ही दिखाई है, लेकिन इसके आजू बाजू में आपको दिख रहा है 1 2 3 4 जो सेंटर में ही है, इसके एडजेसेंट ही है, right? So even these cells can turn out to be microspore mother cells. They even may get converted into microspore mother cells. But till the time they have not converted into microspore mother cell, we call them as sporogenous cells. What we call them as? Sporogenous cells. So sporogenous tissue के कुछ cells, some cells of the sporogenous tissue which get the capacity to undergo meiosis would be called as microspore mother cells. So now you understood what is sporogenous tissue. Okay, so the sporogenous tissue is going to lie at the center, and few cells of this sporogenous tissue will gain the capacity to undergo meiosis, which would now be referred to as microspore mother cells. Is it perfectly understood by all of you all? Anyone having any difficulty? Yes, yes. Middle layer provides nourishment to the microspore mother cells. Agreed. Perfect. Got this. कोई difficulty in understanding what is sporogenous tissue or the cells? टपेटम के अंदर तो मेन, टपेटम के अंदर ये जो है वो तो अभी पोलन बनने वाले जो सेल्स है वो इधर ही है, सेंटर में है. ओके, एंड लुक एट दिस. This is a completely developed anther, wherein can you see here? This is the line of dehiscence. ये पिंक कलर के सेल्स दिख रहे हैं तुम्हें बेटा? ये पिंक वाले सेल्स दिख रहे हैं तुम्हें? हाँ, ये वाले, the pink ones. These are those dotted lines. Line of dehiscence caused due to endothelial cells. Right? करेक्ट. दिखते हैं ये बाहर के साइड, वो बाहर के साइड नहीं है, वो फट गए ना, इसलिए अभी वो ऐसे आ गए हैं. Okay, they were initially like this way, because it has been torn, it is now looking like this. Fine. And you can see the middle layer, the tapetum, nothing is going to be present over here now. These are just the pollen tetrads which are going to be dispersed to the outside. So these are the pollen grains which are going to be dispersed, yeah, after blasting. Yes, this is after the dehiscence, after the blast, correct, after opening of the pollen sac. So this diagram is clear to all of you. Any difficulty in understanding the diagram, beta? Okay. Pollen tetrad means a group of 4 pollen grains that is a product of meiosis, which is a product of meiosis. One meiotic division will give rise to 4 haploid cells, that is the 4 pollen grains. Therefore, that 4 ka one group will be called as a tetrad. Okay? Good. Well, I've understood. I'm really happy. Okay. Now we will come to understand something, which is how the microspores are going to be formed. So we saw the 4 walls of the anther. Now we want to talk about the microspore formation. So let us understand those. The process of formation and differentiation of microspores or pollen grains from microspore mother cells, which is abbreviated as MMC, by reduction division, that is by meiosis, is called as microsporogenesis. Definition 1 mark के लिए आता है एग्जाम में, बोर्ड्स के. This is the definition. The young anther consists of, now they are talking right from the beginning, how this microsporogenesis takes place, right from the beginning they are talking about. The young anther consists of homogeneous mass of parenchymatous cells surrounded by epidermis. Parenchymatous cells means the cells made up of parenchyma. तो ये parenchyma के cells होते हैं, group होता है, which are surrounded by epidermis. Young anther. So the anther is not yet developed. It is just going to form. So that time the anther at the center is going to have parenchyma cell, and surrounding will be the epidermal cells. Okay, 2 layers. Okay, it becomes 2-lobed very soon. So धीरे धीरे क्या होता है, differentiation start हो जाता है, and it will get converted into 2 lobes. So dithecal anther, as we have seen. In each of the 2 lobes, some of the hypodermal cells begin to act as archaesporal initials. Very important point. Epidermis के नीचे hypodermis होता है. Epi and hypo. Epi means above, hypo means below. हम कहते हैं ना, hyper मत हो जा, right? Hypo, hyper, epi, hypo, one and the same. Epi means above, hypo means below. So some of the hypodermal cells, means some of the cells of the parenchyma which are lying below the epidermis, begin to act as archaesporal initial. Remember these points, my dears, very important है ये. So first क्या है, some parenchyma cells will be surrounded by epidermis. Okay, some of these parenchyma cells, which are called as hypoderma because they are below the epiderma, na? So they are called as hypodermal cells, will now start acting as archaesporal initials. Okay, now each archaesporal initial divides into outer primary parietal cell and inner primary sporogenous cell. So someone was asking me a question कि sporogenous cell अंदर कैसे आ गया? तो उसका आंसर ये है बेटा, those archaeosporial cells will divide into two. The outer layer of this archaeosporial cells will be called as parietal, and the inner layer of this archaeosporial cell will be called as sporogenous cell. Got this? Got this now? One more time, huh? I'm repeating one more time. See, the young anther is made up of epidermis on the outside and parenchyma cells from the inside. Few of the parenchyma cells will now be called as hypodermal cells because they are lying below the epidermal cells, which will start acting as archaeosporial initials. What do you mean by acting as archaeosporial initials? Means they will start dividing. So those cells of the parenchyma cells which are capable of undergoing mitosis are your archaeosporial initials. After the archaeosporial initials split, they'll be making outer cell and inner cell. Outer cell will be called as primary parietal and inner cell will be called as primary sporogenous. इधर तक समझ में आ गई ये बात? Any difficulty? Till the primary sporogenous cell तक किसी को कोई difficulty है बेटा? Come on, ask me. Please tell me. I'm waiting for your doubts. If there are any doubts. No doubts? Okay. The primary parietal cell archaeosporial initial are those which are going to undergo mitosis to form two layers of cells. Parenchyma cells को हम hypodermal cells कहते हैं, which will act as archaeosporial initials. Okay, got it? Now, the primary parietal cell, parietal means outside wala. Primary parietal cell divides to form 3 to 5 walls, that is endothelium, middle layers and tapatum. Now you are coming closer to your answer na कि sporogenous cells अंदर कैसे है? So see, the parietal cells will divide further to form what? Endothelium, middle layer and tapatum. Got it? Got it? Up simple. While the primary sporogenous cells divide to produce a mass of sporogenous cells or microsporocytes. फाइन ना बेटा? दिमाग में बिल्कुल क्लियर है ये? मैं वापस एक बार पूरा समझा रही हूँ, प्लीज अंडरस्टैंड. ओके, एपिडर्मिस, outermost layer. Inside the epidermis lies the tissue called as parenchyma tissue. Majority of the parenchyma tissue cells will be called as hypodermal cells because they are lying below the parenchyma. Few of the hypodermal cells will act as archaeosporial initials, means they will undergo mitosis. After the mitosis of the archaeosporial initial, two cells will be formed, outer and inner. The outer layer of the cells will be called as primary parietal, while the inner primary sporogenous. ऐसे दो layers बनते हैं. The outer primary parietal will undergo rapid mitosis to form 3 to 5 layered thick structure, which is nothing but endothelium, middle layer and tapatum, while already in the inner layer was the sporogenous cells. So the sporogenous cells will also undergo mitosis, which will eventually give rise to the microspores or the pollen grains. Is it fine? Is it clear? Have you all understood, my dears? It's very important. It's very important. And this content now you will not find in any of the books. ये कंटेंट आपको बुक्स में नहीं मिलेगा बेटा, और इसके ऊपर है ना बहुत क्वेश्चंस आते हैं, क्वेश्चंस भी आएंगे और कंसेप्चुअली भी आपको क्लियर हो जाएगा। मतलब वो एक क्वेश्चन मार्क था कि नहीं आपके दिमाग में कि ये आंसर बना कैसे, फ्रॉम वेयर डिड इट कम, फ्रॉम वेयर इट ओरिजिनेटेड, सो इट इज ओरिजिनेटिंग फ्रॉम दीज थिंग्स। माइक्रोस्पोरोसाइट और माइक्रोस्पोर मदर सेल इज वन एंड द सेम, यस बच्चा, बिल्कुल करेक्ट। माइक्रोस्पोर मदर सेल और माइक्रोस्पोरोसाइट इज वन ऑफ द सेम। यहां तक समझा, परफेक्टली समझा, नो कंफ्यूजन्स। नाउ each microspore mother cell, each microspore mother cell or the microsporocyte as we say, divides meiotically to form 4 haploid microspores या फिर 4 haploid pollen grains and remain arranged in tetrads. Easy, correct? The arrangement of pollen grain is a tetrad is affected by cytokinesis during meiosis. So, what are the different ways it can be made? Is like how the cytokinesis is taking place. Accordingly, will be the arrangement of the pollen grain. Okay. Each cell of the sporogenous tissue is capable of giving rise to microspore tetrad. Microspore formation is also going to be of 2 types: simultaneous and successive. Simultaneous matlab kya? Cytokinesis occurs simultaneously at the end of meiosis 2. You have already done meiosis, so you know what is cytokinesis. So here they are saying that the cytokinesis occurs simultaneously at the end of meiosis 2 to form tetrahedral tetrad. Here, wall formation is centripetal. You already know what is centripetal. From the side, periphery, from the center to the periphery is centripetal. It is common in dicots. Successive type, the cytokinesis occurs twice. That is, each of the 2 nuclear divisions is followed by wall formation to form isobilateral tetrad. Here the wall formation is centrifugal. It is found in monocots. I'll show you the diagram. It will become very easy for you all to understand them. See, this is the microspore mother cell. This is the simultaneous type, wherein you can see the spindle formation is taking place. 1, 2, 3, and 4 is going to be at the back side. This is a 3-dimensional structure, 3D structure है ये. So 1, 2, 3 आपको दिख रहे हैं, 4 पीछे के side पे है. Similarly, you can see the wall formation is starting now. After the 4 pollen grains have been formed, now उसके बाद wall formation हो रहा है. So you can see 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, this is simultaneous. Successive, here you can see 1 wall formation already taken place to form 2 microspores. And again, there's going to be another wall formation over here to form 4 microspores. So this is called as successive. This is called as simultaneous. So simultaneous में अगर आप देखोगे तो after the 2 spores formation, यहाँ पर wall नहीं बना बेटा. Okay, the wall took place simultaneously at the end of meiosis 2. So understood the difference between simultaneous type and successive type? है कोई difficulty है? Tell me. Now you understood the language also and the diagram also. Correct na? Yes, exactly. So shape देखो बेटा, look at the shape. This is called as a tetrahedral tetrad. This is called as isobilateral tetrad. So depending upon how the cytokinesis is taking place, the names are given. In simultaneously, walls form at the end, and in successive, the walls are present from the start, means from meiosis 1. Yes. Names of simultaneous successive or tetrahedral. Tetrahedral, isobilateral, decustate, I'm showing you. You need to remember the names. Yeah. Besides tetrahedral and isobilateral tetrads, other type of tetrads are linear, T-shaped, and decussate. Note of remembering the examples, that's never going to be asked, but at least the shapes you should know. Now the microspores are separated from the tetrad at the time of dispersal. In Aristolochia elegans, all 5 types of microspore arrangements are seen. So this is tetrahedral, isobilateral, decussate. Decussate में कैसे होता है ना? This is 1 उसके पीछे 2 और उसके ऊपर 2, so 2 plus 2 as a tower they look like. See 2, ये 1 है, इसके पीछे ऐसा ही दूसरा है और उसके ऊपर 2 है. So this is your decussate. This is T-shaped. You can very well see this is T-shaped and this is linear. So tetrahedral, isobilateral, decussate, T-shaped and linear are the 5 types of arrangements seen of pollen grains. Is it fine? Understood? Any difficulty? Sure? Some unusual features I won't talk now. It's almost 5:30. So I'll wind up for today. But I hope till 17th we have completed. I remember. So I hope you all have understood whatever I have taught you all. ये कभी आपने शायद सुना नहीं होगा बेटा इसीलिए. हाँ? So in the next class we can go ahead with the next content and we will try to complete the male gametogenesis part as well. Okay? Yes. Chalo. Bye. See you all on Wednesday. Yes? Yeah. Bye.